Thanks a lot, Heather. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our session on integrating Crystal with custom applications and web intelligence as reporting solutions in custom apps. This is kind of a non-traditional topic. Usually when we think about Crystal reports or web intelligence reports, we think of these tools as reporting solutions. Once everything is completed in your transaction system, things are moving to your data warehouse, then comes BI, and then comes a reporting solution where we use these sort of reporting tools. Can Crystal reports or web intelligence be used as a part of your transactional systems? Can it generate reports dynamically or in an ad hoc fashion as and when the transactions are appearing in the system? These are things that can be done with the custom applications and with a bit of programming help that we do. So I'm going to discuss a customer case study here, and I'll show you a quick demo of how Crystal is embedded into a transactional reporting system as well with the help of .NET programming involved in it. And then I'm going to give you some tips on how web intelligence reports can also be included in the custom application. So these three things will be covered today. And a little bit background about our customer. This is the city government in Yonkers. Yonkers is a town outside of Manhattan, where it's in Westchester County, New York. It's one of the fourth most populous country within the New York State, next to New York City, Buffalo, and Rochester. And currently, the city of Yonkers operates a Tickets 2000 application, which was built by InfoSol in 2000, where they have this functionality for issuing tickets in parking, red light, and code enforcement that's in place. And the system got old, and it's still running on a Windows XP machine. It's been great. It's been helping, but things are evolving in their whole system. And now InfoSol won the bid of building this new web-based system with real-time updates from all the entry points that happen in the city government, which includes the handheld devices as well. So this includes a cop who's in a car, who's printing a ticket. End of the day, it automatically gets into their transaction system, and someone can come to the city government office and pay the fines directly. And then once a check is being issued, it goes to the Chase Bank or another service called Lockbox, and it has to go through the financial system. Say you leave your trash can outside and that's an offense, and that you get a code enforcement ticket. That's also involved in their transaction system. And how do we generate these letters? How do we generate this on-demand reports when someone shows at the city government office window? And the type of city government functions here, number one, parking tickets, like you get like parking tickets when the meters expire or like unauthorized parking. And then you have like parking permits that the city government issues, where it's like the handicap parking and the residential permits that they get. And then comes the boot and tow department, where your cars get booted. Someone goes to that tow location and then they submit the payment, and they have to come to the city government to make a payment. Only then the boot will be released from the car. So that's another city government function. Then comes the code enforcement ticket. And pictures are stored in the system as well, because when you go through the red light cameras, pictures are taken automatically, and that is fed through a system. And how do we get into this application? How can a Crystal report read a picture based on a ticket number? And then there's this online inquiry where people show up at the office and say, okay, here is my license. I don't know how many tickets I have. I don't know what's the fine amount. Can you tell me or give me a printout of how much can I pay so that I can go and come back later? So that's like an online inquiry. And then comes financial reports, cashiering, and receipt management. The court hearing, someone shows up at a court, there's like several hearings, and then the judge issues like, okay, payment method or like any other hearing notice. So that's another letter or something like a printout that you get when you go to the court directly. And then you can appeal in the court as well. Then you get the decision sheets. So these are some of the functions that the city government does. There's a lot more behind this, but these are the things that was developed specifically in terms of Crystal report itself. So I've listed only those functions where we have built Crystal reports for all these functions. Correspondence is another one where for a lot of letters that you get, say there's a mispayment, or you have your check that is not being cashed in the bank, or there's no balance in your account, you get like correspondence letters from the city government. Now, for all this, the main idea of having Crystal reports is that we didn't have a necessity to run Crystal report in the BI platform itself. So a Crystal report for Visual Studio is an embedded application where when you build this whole application in a .NET framework, you can have a Crystal report that can dynamically go to a database with an OLEDB connection, pull the required fields, and generate a Crystal report on demand with the .NET framework. So all the reports that I showed you here was not involving the BI platform itself. So these are standalone Crystal reports, which were designed using a Crystal designer, and it gets embedded into this Visual Studio .NET application. And if you're familiar with Visual Studio .NET development in the IDE environment, you do have a Crystal software that comes with Visual Studio itself. So you don't even have to have a separate Crystal desktop designer to generate reports. You can design inside the Visual Studio itself. But the way that we built was like I took over the portion of designing Crystal reports, and we have a separate programming team within InfoSol. So they built the application, and I interacted with them on how I supply the Crystal report, how does it take the input from the application itself and pass them as variables. For example, someone comes in at the window and then they type values. You need a user-friendly interface for them to enter the name, last name, first name, or date of birth. And from that, those values are the parameter values for a Crystal report, and a printout is generated automatically. So for the end user, and that's the beauty of Crystal, where you don't even have to know that it's a Crystal report. It comes in a normal PDF format, in a pixel perfect report format that they can use directly. So let me get into the demo, and you'll get an idea of how Crystal was embedded directly into the application itself. All right, so here is the application. I'm going to start from scratch. So this is the application that InfoSol built in .NET. So someone comes here and they said, okay, my last name is Johnson, or you can give your first name, last name, and then they press enter. So at the information window for the last name Johnson, these are the people who have like outstanding tickets. These are the people who have like suspended license plates. These are the total amount due. This is the information that they get. Now from here, okay, my name is Aaron Johnson. I have like a huge fine plus my plate is suspended. So from here, when I click, I go to another application called the plate and parcel inquiry, where I get all my violations for the cars that I own. Maybe I'm a business owner. I own like several other vehicles for my business, so I can pay all my fines together here. Now, for the end user or the customer or someone who shows up at the window, they just need a printout. Okay, give me a printout of all the tickets that I have. So they come here and then we can say like print plate. At this point, our Crystal report, which is like a template that resides within the system, takes the data directly from the transaction system, and then it generates a report where it gets automatically printed to their printer. In this case, I'm home, so it's not connected to any of my printers. So they click on print plate, it directly goes to a printer from the Chrome with the PDF extension. And this report, or the PDF that you see, was designed in Crystal reports. Now, this has no connection to the BI platform. This is a standalone Crystal report using an OLEDB connection, connecting to the same database where the .NET application is connected. And all the selections that we make in the user interface are passed on as parameters to this Crystal report. So if I show this design in Crystal, so here is my print ticket copy, the ticket maintenance version. So this is where I design like perfect, pixel perfect reports, and then the values are passed on automatically. So from here, they get a print, and then say if you need like additional details, you can go, okay, maybe I want to see all my notice histories. I can do a print all, and then I can print directly here. So from here, I can go to a plate maintenance. So I can do actions such as changing my address. Okay, maybe the tickets were sent to my old address, or my car number plate is wrong, or my VIN number is printed wrong. You can make changes, or you can make modify or maintain the plate information from here directly. And again, I can go back here and then select that particular ticket. Let me go into this. I'll show you some other reports as well. So I'll select one of the ticket, and then if I click on the print ticket here, now another Crystal report is generated, which will look in the exact same format. Like, okay, it'll give additional details on like, okay, what is the fine? What is the bad check fee? What is the exact vehicle? Is the judgment being given, or is it being suspended? And this is another Crystal report that is designed over here, this information. So throughout the application, we have about like 35 Crystal reports, and then we have like 20 plus correspondence letters that were designed specifically for this transactional system. So from here, I can get this one, and I can go to the financials of this report. And The other thing the customer asked was like at every single grid, for example, if I go here and we built grids throughout our system. So I quickly need a printout of all the Johnsons who have like tickets. So I can click here, print, and then I do a print all. With the help of our Crystal Grid Designer within Visual Studio, it will take the information that's available in the grid, and a Crystal report is generated in an ad hoc fashion. So this is another Crystal report over here. And then all the headings. For example, if I'm the administrator or I'm the director for City of Yonkers, for me, the label should show up as AAB, which is like Administrative Adjudication Bureau. And then it shows like all the numbers and I can print it out. If someone from code enforcement joins, they log in here and then the title should change automatically. The heading should be dynamic. So with Crystal, we have the concept of templates, and these templates can change dynamically based on the person who logs in to the application itself. So at every grid over here, we have another Crystal report that's given directly. And then if I have some correspondence letters, for example, so I can go to correspondence here, and for this particular number plate, I can select this ticket, and then I click on this. I can go to letters. Now, all the letters that you see in correspondence, such as the bad check or the cancel check, the chargeback letter or partial or the tow vehicle certified, every single letter that you have is another Crystal report directly. So I can go here and select, and then an additional Crystal report opens up. The data is in test. We don't want to expose customers' information. So this is all like test data. So I can select here, and then I can give my receipt number. And then I select this, and now and my total due like 65. So this is what an assistant or a clerk who's in the window will do this over here. Then I can say like, click on update, saved comments. All the saved comments can be entered here. I click on update, and then taking this information directly from the front window, a letter is automatically generated from here. So this is another Crystal report that's embedded in the application. Now, for a city government, you can imagine how many letters are sent to all its residents for all the violations that take place with the city and all the outstanding payments that are available for the residents to pay. So they also use another third-party application, which is from InfoSol, InfoBurst. Some of you would already know this. So InfoBurst automatically takes these letters. There's another schedule that goes through where it automatically publishes these letters to network printers, and then somebody in that department automatically puts in the envelopes. They have a separate system for that, and then the letters are sent automatically over here as well. So this is the power of designing Crystal in a pixel-perfect format way, and then embedding directly into the application itself. We have a lot more in terms of the hearing itself, so I can go to a hearing schedule, and then I don't have any hearings for this test data over here. So you can have like a print hearing notice, you can add tickets, modify hearings. Every single thing that you have here is designed within a Crystal report without any connection to the BI platform directly. Okay, and the customer here also has a BI platform. They do use Web Intelligence for all their Webi reporting purposes and everything, but we didn't want to consume a license for the transactional applications. They have like several information windows. They have more people working in code enforcement. People can show up randomly. Letters need to be printed. So enabling a session or an authentication for like every single thing happening in this letters with Web Intelligence is not practical in terms of managing the sessions with third-party applications. That's the reason we chose Crystal as a solution where it can be embedded natively within Visual Studio. You might ask this question, these can be done in Webi. You can design a report in Webi. A couple of challenges were faced in Web Intelligence for designing a letter and grouping and hiding and showing groups and stuff. So that's where Crystal is really handy in terms of customizing the output itself. So that was the reason Crystal was chosen for this customer. Now, for their Web Intelligence reporting, that is used only by the corporate people or the executives and the team, and then they have like a separate reporting solutions. In a traditional way, after all the transactions are done, the next day, any reporting that's done is done in Web Intelligence directly. Now, do we have any questions on Crystal specifically that I can do? Questions? I'll proceed. I think we don't have any questions. Okay.
Sorry, Rajesh, I was trying to talk to you. There's no open questions at this time, but if any come in,
Perfect.
I will let you know.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you. One other form of report for Crystal itself, like, so we designed like a print ticket copy. So if you look at it, the printout that gets from a cop car will look like a ticket that's in the horizontal or the vertical format. So even that is designed by Crystal directly. So anything that's like images, for example, so if I go to the plate ticket or parcel inquiry, all the images that come from the third-party system, that is also embedded within Crystal. So I select a particular ticket here, and I can go to the images section. You do have an image of the ticket. So this is the ticket that the cop printouts from his car. And then there's another system that's integrated with this where the Crystal report renders the image directly as well. So you have like Crystal reports throughout the application, and it can be designed separately outside of this. Now, there comes the question on, can web intelligence be done the same way? And I'm going to show you some of the ideas on how a web intelligence can also be embedded into a custom application. If Crystal is not something that you're familiar with, or you don't want to have Crystal, you don't have a Crystal report developer in your team. Now, web intelligence is very easy to build, and some of you here are like already experts at Webi. Now, a programmer or someone who builds this custom application can use web intelligence and integrate them in their custom application. And there are different ways to consume Webi. Number one, you can expose web intelligence features with REST web services. So with the REST calls that can go into web intelligence, you can expose features such as creating an ad hoc document, creating a web intelligence chart that can be done using a REST web service call. And then you have the traditional way of using OpenDoc links. And we have used OpenDoc links for our customer here as well. And there are multiple parameters that you can utilize in OpenDoc where your end user doesn't even have to know that this is a web intelligence report. And then there's another method where you can set up web intelligence as an embedded applet. So if you have a custom application with which can run Java, you can embed that web intelligence report into your custom application. Plus, you can customize your Webi user interfaces. So let's have a deeper look into how the web REST APIs are going to look. Now, the REST APIs that come with web intelligence, and for this, you don't have to install anything separately because the SDK is provided with the BI platform, and I've included the samples folder location here as well. So you have nothing to install in a developer machine and where your application is deployed. The major benefit with this SDK is that you can use the REST APIs with any programming language that supports the HTTP protocol. So the end users can access the broad range of Webi functions in many different ways. You can use it in XML and JSON formats that are being supported. So you can create documents and build queries using these REST APIs. You can create reports. You can refresh the documents, format the report, saving and scheduling documents. The main difference between using Crystal reports versus web intelligence is that for running Webi within your custom applications, you need a connection to your BI platform. And since you're using a third-party custom application with your web intelligence, clearing the sessions or managing your licenses will be an issue, and that has to be done outside of your custom application. So you have to use your CMC portal to clear your licenses and if there is any logs, so that like every single connection in your third-party application will consume a license. So that's the reason we chose Crystal and we didn't go this Webi route directly. And plus there are other design considerations that came into play when we evaluated Crystal with web intelligence. So this is for the REST API, and OpenDoc is our traditional link. So you go to a particular Webi document, you click on document link, you get the OpenDoc link. Now there are several other features, and I've included a OpenDoc link in 4.2 in a particular, I think it was SP6, I believe. There was a release where there was a new parameter that was added called as the S report mode equals light. So when you have this, and here's an OpenDoc link for that report, you would notice that the SAP branding or the web intelligence branding, everything is hidden and only the reports show up directly. And from here, if I want to navigate to like different tabs of the Webi report, I can move directly with the tab names at the bottom. So this is a helpful parameter to include an OpenDoc link into your custom application. That way your end user doesn't see all the Webi designer features, the filter bars. You don't have to, you can hide everything, and then you can have an open doc link that shows this part directly. All right, and then there is a particular feature that our customer uses, which is called as the Chrome kiosk printing, meaning they want to see this in full screen, and they don't want to hide, have like any SAP branding. So within the Chrome browser, there's a kiosk setting where it automatically shows the application in full screen, and it automatically prints the PDF. So take a look at Chrome kiosk printing and see if that is something that's helpful for a Webi dashboard that you design, and you can hide everything from your BI Launchpad directly. Now, the other method is customizing the Webi user interface. Let me log into the system itself. I think go to CNC. Okay, so this part where I hide everything might work for a few customers, and there might be customers that are like, no, I want to see the filter bar, I want to see certain things from Webi, but I don't want to show everything that Web Intelligence offers. Can I show only the freeze panes? Can I show only the filter bar? Is there a way to customize it? Now, in 4.2, there is a method where you can go to a particular user group and say there is a user group called as Webi students. I can go to the properties section of Web Intelligence, and then under the customization section of the properties, you can go into the user interface elements, and then you can customize exactly what are the things that you need for Webi, what are the things that you want the end users to see. And when you right-click your Web Intelligence report, maybe you don't want them to drill down, you don't want them to change to design mode. You can uncheck those features as well, and then you can customize this whole interface on how Web Intelligence is shown to your end users. So that's another way of using Web Intelligence or utilizing. You can do a combination of both the REST API and the customization for Web Intelligence. You can do that as well. So that is another way of using it. Now, there's this fourth way of using Web Intelligence as an embedded applet, where you can set up this Web Intelligence Java applet to run in your own custom portal. Now, the embedded applet provides the same functionality of this Webi applet. Like if you go to the Webi properties, you'll see a Java applet running, and your end users can open Webi documents that are stored in your platform without directly connected to your platform, right? So they don't have to log in, and then it'll show only that particular Webi component. And the refresh won't be available, but you can still have the refresh scheduled directly on the platform, and it shows that document directly. And for this, there is a sample Java document code snippet that's given. So if you go to the installation directory and go to samples, Web Intelligence embedded applet.zip, you do have a sampler code on how you can embed Webi into the custom application itself. This is the customization of, yes.
You have a couple questions that came in. I wanted to catch you before you moved on.
Sure.
First one is, what is the delta on application integration options between the different types? Crystal Reports 2020, Web Intelligence 4.3, and Crystal Reports for Enterprise 4.3. If you want to see that, you might be able to pop up the QA panel.
Okay. So far, to my knowledge, with 4.3 and Crystal, I can speak for Crystal, there are no changes in terms of the integration application. Still, Crystal with Visual Studio, .NET works the same way. And if you notice how we integrate Crystal, we can also have a Crystal viewer that's embedded into your application. And Crystal viewer comes standard the same way in 4.3 as well. So there's no changes to Crystal reports. Webi, to my knowledge, no, but I haven't gone through the embedded documentation for Webi 4.3. So that is something that I would have to check myself. I don't think anything has changed because it's still based on REST, and Webi as a custom application will also stay the same. So I don't see any other changes at this point. Is there a SAP matrix document in 4.3? I don't think in any of the roadmap documentation they've discussed about this embedded integration, which I would assume then it stays the same. So if there is any changes with the SDK itself, and there is something that's discussed about Crystal where there's a RESTful SDK for Crystal coming, which will make it much more easier. as of now, Crystal remains as a Java SDK version, but the Visual Studio version stays the same. The Visual Studio and Java are supported with Crystal reports directly. Okay. Was there another question? Most online.
I think you're good for questions for now.
Okay. All right. So I think I'll wrap up. I want to give some of the benefits of using these reports and custom applications. First of all, it improves productivity and efficiency with having like a professional pixel perfect reports, no doubt there. And Crystal Reports is a widely embedded technology. Even a lot of companies, including SAP themselves, they have no idea on how many Crystal Reports are out there, which has no connection with the BI platform. So it is widely adopted with a lot of third-party applications. I've seen help desk applications which run Crystal Report Viewer, and they don't even have BI platform. So Crystal as a desktop tool is being used by a lot of software companies, and it is being embedded in their application. And we know that web intelligence reports are easy to build. So with a little bit of programming help, you can use Webi as well in your custom applications. And as a developer platform, it integrates with .NET and Java, no changes as of now. And the Webi REST API can be used with any programming language that supports HTTP as well. And then you can use the same report. Say I build a Crystal report and you want that report to be scheduled and delivered to different users, or the Webi report to be scheduled. Then you can utilize or you can maximize the ROI by using the same report in the BI Launchpad as well. And that's what we did for our customer. So there are a lot of benefits outside of BI Launchpad for both Crystal reports and web intelligence. And then if you decide this is the report that needs to go to the platform, you don't have to redesign the entire thing. So you can think about a reporting solution that works for your transaction system, and the same report, the same design that you did can work for the BI platform as well. And I've included some of the references with all the REST documentation and the Crystal report Visual Studio documentation here, so that might be helpful for people who are watching this recording of the webinar. And that should be it. And I'm open for any other questions that come my way. I think I'm on time, I believe.